She went to 100 hair salons to watch the performance of the prostitute's window display, but it was not to satisfy her desire, but to learn the attitude of the other party, slowly touch her own body. But because of shyness and inferiority, when the prostitute's eyes came, she immediately restored her look in this cold glass overlap, her figure with the figure of the woman, and the woman seems to have realized something, so the corner of the mouth rises, and there is a smile. At the end of the eye, the red cloud slowly opens up and completely enters the role Anna. Jinzhuang followed Xie Xiaowei's makeup in the shadow, imitating everyone's actions without hesitation. Not only that, after returning home that night, he also put on his wife's silk pajamas. And after the wife found out, not only did not feel strange, instead, he took the initiative to draw eyebrows for her the next day, take the initiative to put on women's clothes for her, take the initiative to pull her to various places, observe and learn the appearance of women of different classes. After she learned the essence, let her be a model again, show all kinds of soft eyebrows, then use a brush to capture it carefully. Originally, both of them like this kind of role-playing game, but as time went by, the wife Gerda found Anna's words and actions gradually became feminine. Even the inner heart has changed greatly, and this change will completely destroy their happy life. The streets of Copenhagen in 1926, filled with a strong sense of art. Anna drew a landscape painting of the Avala swamp in her hometown at the corner of the art street, drawn as a melancholy and poetic tone. Let her be in tears. Although the wife Gerda is also a famous painter, but her portrait has never received much attention. There is not even a work that can be accepted by the art gallery. In fact, her painting skills are very good. The color application is also very pure. It's just that the chosen model always lacks something, so Gerda accepted the suggestion, invited enthusiastic friends to visit. However, the painting was not completed. The other party let her go because of a temporary problem. Fortunately, only one foot is missing. Looking for a substitute has no effect, so she asked her husband. Anna put on 4 socks and women's shoes, put on a dress, take over her temporary model. I didn't expect to wake up the female personality hidden deep in Anna's heart at first. Anna, whose gender consciousness had not completely changed. I just like to touch women's obvious dresses, but this day he put his wife's silk dress tied to the shirt, although it was soon discovered. But he not only did not feel ashamed, but in the face of his wife's doubts, boldly praised the dress so that the wife feels he is creating a different passion for the life of the couple. So, in the room that night, the wife took the initiative for the first time, and Anna fell into a sweet sleep after the party. I don't know if my sleep is too warm, and was marked on the paper by his wife until the next morning. He woke up from a dream. He looked at himself like a woman in the sketch, fall into endless thoughts when he felt confused. Gerda suddenly invited him to the artist's dance party. At first, he didn't want to agree because he thought everyone didn't really understand his art, just greedy for his reputation. But Gerda not only had a firm attitude, also proposed to make him dress up as a woman so he wouldn't be recognized, and he was already in love with women's clothing at this moment, so he finally agreed in this way. Gerda put on makeup for him, helped him choose women's clothes, taught him how to walk like a woman. He even called Lili. He dressed up as a woman, turned to the day of the artist's dance party, although full of tension and unease. But Anna still followed. Gerda came to the dance party, and in addition to their common friend Ulla, no one recognized that she was Anna. When Gerda introduced her to others, he only said that she was Anna's distant cousin. As for Anna, she seems to be completely integrated into Lili's soul. Every move is the unique temperament of the noble lady of that era, and so she was looked down upon by many men. Faced with the constant glaring eyes, Lili dare not respond directly. She could only shyly hide by Gerda's side. However, Gerda was suddenly replaced by a friend. Lili came to the crowd alone at this time. A man boldly shook his hand. At first, he was still on guard, but the other party would ease the tense atmosphere, and he was also very polite. So Soon he let go, even followed the other party to a deserted corner in the conversation. The man introduced himself as a romanticist and praised Lili for having a special beauty that no one else has. Maybe he was fascinated by the love confession when Henrik took the initiative to ask. Lili not only did not avoid, but excitedly responded, but just when the two of them were flirting. Gerda, who found Lili missing, came over and happened to see this scene at the same time. Lili suddenly ran out of blood. Gerda saw it and immediately took her away. Originally, Gerda only regarded Lili as an art symbol, a beautiful and pure female image used to inspire her creative inspiration, but after seeing the kiss just now, she realized that Lili was no longer a fictional doll. So in order not to make the situation worse, she hopes that Lili will not appear again. But for Anna, Lili is not a simple disguise game from the beginning, but a self-exploration. Although physiological gender and psychological identity still tearing caused her to forcefully suppress it with willpower and left a nosebleed, but in the end, the female Lili took the lead. So in the following days, Anna often hides from Gerda or secretly dates Henrik in the once-in-a-lifetime ambivalence, greedily piling up a complete self until the day Henrik kissed her suddenly, called Anna's name. Likes women's clothes, and he happens to like men in women's clothes, but Lili is a man. But in his bones, he thinks he is a woman. For this reason, he once hit a male organ in front of the mirror, longing for a feminine figure unexpectedly. Henrik's words and brought her back to reality from the dream of fantasy she couldn't stand. The truth, not only did she confess everything to Gerda, she even had a kiss with a boy named Hans when she was young. It's just that she didn't understand the barriers of gender. She only thought it was a misunderstanding between children. Plus, after her father found out, he scolded her hard, so she sealed Lili deep in her heart. After Gerda heard it, tears came out of her eyes. She regrets waking up Lili more worried that her husband Anna will no longer exist. However, when she was struggling, Anna, who changed back to men's clothes, suddenly collapsed from pain. Although the clinical performance was not good, but Gerda knew that the root cause was a psychological problem, so she began to take Anna to see a doctor. But at that time, a doctor either couldn't find the cause of the disease or treat Anna as a mental illness. Tie her up and electrocute her. It is better to keep her in a mental hospital. But Gerda firmly refused because she didn't want Anna to suffer. The turn came from an ordinary dancer. The boss of the gallery suddenly told Gerda, a famous agent in France, he took a fancy to her painting, let her go to Paris in person. It turned out that when Anna was suffering from gender identity, Gerda was also suffering. She had nowhere to vent her emotions. She could only put Lili in the window. Never thought of the appreciation of the boss of the gallery. Now she is also favored by Paris at first because she was worried about Anna. She didn't want to go to Paris, but the moment she saw the doctor's diagnosis, she felt like taking Anna to a strange city for a walk. Maybe it's a good way to treat. So the two came to Paris from Denmark. However, Anna not only did not get better, instead, she became more depressed. She even gave up her best painting. She locked herself in her room every day in order not to let her continue to be depressed. Gerda found Hans. Now Hans runs a company. It's also a great business, but since the divorce many years ago, she has been single. After understanding Anna's situation, she first expressed regret, then said she was happy to help. But when Gerda told Anna this news and suggested that the three of them have dinner together, Anna smiled, but she didn't make an appointment. Gerda had no choice but to bring Hans home. I didn't expect Anna to be as gentle as Lili, even though she was shocked by the scene in front of her. After all, Lili hasn't appeared for a long time, but Gerda soon adjusted her mood, then introduced Lili to Hans, but Hans didn't show the same eyes. Instead, he cooperated with the two. Lili spoke first. Maybe you don't remember, but we met when we were kids. Anna also mentioned you to me. It's a pity that she can't be here today. Hans listened and responded seriously. Suddenly, Gerda interrupted the conversation and politely said to Hans, I'll take you to see Anna's work. As a result, Lili immediately stopped. I also want to know more about Hans. I want to know if he is married. However, after Hans answered, She suddenly became depressed, then hurried back to the bedroom. Gerda knows that Lili really missed Hans. It's impossible to be sad with Hans in the future, so when Hans wanted to comfort Lili in the past, Gerda not only stopped him in time, but also gently sent the other party away at the same time. Maybe after a long talk finally determined her heart or Hans's appearance stable, the original unstable position in short. After this day, Lili completely replaced Anna. At first, Gerda couldn't accept it, but looking at the new lovers more and more firm eyes and more smiles, she also gradually began to get used to Lili's existence and use the brush in her hand recreate every aspect of Lili. It's just when she hung a pair of works hanging on the long-awaited personal exhibition when she got countless praises and compliments. Loneliness came suddenly. Even the more lively the surroundings, she felt more and more miserable, so that she walked alone into the dark night, regardless of the heavy rain. It turned out that deep in Gerda's heart, still hope that her husband can come back. Otherwise, no one can share even the achievements she has achieved. However, Lili's attitude is also very firm. In this way, the two people broke up. Helpless Gerda found Hans want to find a trace of comfort from the other party, and since the first night of seeing Gerda, Hans has a good feeling for her. It can be seen that friends can't abandon their wives. She has always kept her distance until she learned that Anna may never appear again. Dare to express her love to Gerda. At first, Gerda clearly refused, but now she really needs to rely on, so I took the initiative to give her a hug. Fortunately, when Hans wanted to take a step closer, her mind returned to the dragon again. There was no irreparable mistake, and when she hurried back home, Lili should also feel guilty. Remove the makeup and take off the woman's makeup, give Anna back, but the external image is easy to restore, but the inner heart is difficult to return to the past, even if the appearance of a man. Anna's every move also reveals Lili's style. She finally couldn't help it this day want to figure out her identity, so she came to the library alone, turned over gender-related documents. But after reading it, there was still no clue. What's worse is the way home she was also treated as a boy, beaten by two men with secular prejudices. But in order not to make Gerda worry, she didn't go home directly, but found Hans with a haggard body. Hans immediately gave her medicine, encouraged her not to be afraid of being different. After all, being different in France is normal, but she was depressed every day. I wake up, I warn myself, be sure to treat Anna. But now Anna has no choice. Sometimes I really want to kill her. The only reason to stop me is so Lili will disappear completely. Hans thinks Anna should continue to see the doctor. Was no great hope, but Anna still followed the advice. It's just that French doctors are the same as German. Either think she has a problem with her brain, suggest she cut off her brain, or crudely determined that she was a homosexual. And in the social concept at the time, homosexuality is seen as a kind of abnormality, but this is obviously inconsistent with Anna's inner feelings. She just wants to be a real woman. Not only that, there are also doctors who suspect that she is mentally disordered, think her thoughts and actions are a sign of mental illness, forced her to be locked up in a mental hospital. In the end, she broke out of the window and escaped. Just when she was about to enter the trap, their mutual friend Ulla introduced a German doctor named Connor to Gerda. It is understood that the other party has received a lot men like Anna who feel confused about themselves. Coincidentally, Connor came to France for a business trip, so the two quickly met. Facing the interrogation, Anna said frankly, maybe you think I'm crazy, but I firmly believe that there's a woman in my body. I didn't expect Connor to not only feel the difference, but affirmed his statement. I understand your confusion. I've seen men like you before. If you want, I could do surgery, remove your male genitalia, then build a vagina, make your genital sex a woman. But this kind of surgery is troublesome and the risk is very high, so I suggest you think about it. Gerda wanted to refuse on the spot, not because she rejected her husband, but because she was worried about losing her life. But Anna thought this was her only chance anyway. She had to give it a try. So the next day, she decided to follow the doctor to Germany. Originally, Gerda also wanted to accompany, but Anna didn't want her to see her husband being killed, so she firmly rejected her proposal. So Anna came to Germany alone. And on this day, as Lili, she stayed in the women's hospital created by Dr. Connor. Maybe it's because they're all women in the hospital, or the quality of the medical staff is high. Everyone here has a good appearance, make Lili feel like a spring breeze, but due to the complexity of the transformation surgery, the requirements for the patient's physical fitness are also very high. So Connor didn't arrange the surgery for Lili immediately, but let her rest for at least a week. Although I hate this situation now, but in order to completely get rid of it in the future, Lili also obediently followed the advice. Soon a week passed. Lili was in the first stage of surgery. Although the surgery was successful, but the pain almost devoured Lili. Even if you inject a lot of morphine, it's also useless. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Gerda, who always cares about Lili, came from the French wind and dust, stabilized Lili's uneasiness. In fact, as Lili said, Gerda is an energetic woman. She is not only strong in her heart, but she can always bring strength to people around her, because the second stage of surgery takes a long time. So after gradually regaining physical strength, Lili and Gerda returned to their motherland, Denmark. As a Danish Lili woman found a job in perfume sales, although she is not good at it, but she is very happy. However, when she was chatting with Gerda, Gerda persuaded her to continue painting. After all, she does have a talent for painting, but she mistook Gerda for Anna, so the two had a dispute. Gerda felt wrong. Gerda came to the dock alone to buy seafood to relax, but she happened to run into Lili on a date with Henrik not long ago. Lili got in touch with Henrik, but the two did not develop into a couple, because Lili is basically a woman now, and the sex orientation is difficult. Although Henrik's gender is difficult, but the sex orientation is also difficult, so they are destined to be friends. After explaining everything to Gerda, Lili immediately proposed to go to Germany for the next surgery. At first, Gerda firmly disagreed because Lili's body is still very weak, can't stand a dozen hours of tossing, not enough self-immunization, various risk of infection after the confrontation, but in the face of the other party's firm attitude and endless requests, she eventually came to Germany with Lili. Because the surgery was complicated and immature, so the doctor in front of the book asked Lili's opinion again. Although the answer has not changed, but the night before going to the operating table, Lili still cried out, but not because of weakness and fear, but because the soul is struggling to break through, confused with the past, the truth of the present, and the future. But now she has to walk alone that self-identified single tree bridge. After that, she will live in the world as a complete Lili. The next day, everything was ready. Lili went to the operating table again. However, as soon as the surgery was over, she fell into a coma due to a high fever. Henrik regrettably told Gerda, it's better to be mentally prepared in advance, because Lili may never wake up again. Fortunately, after a day and a night of Gerda, the miracle finally came to the world. After waking up, Lili, at first, she was happy to say to Gerda, I am finally a complete self. You don't have to worry about me anymore. Of course, you might say you change very slowly. Don't worry about me. It will probably take a long time, but how can I have your love? After a short silence and rest, she continued to say that I had a beautiful dream last night. Dreamed that I was a baby. Mother hugged me and called me Lili. Then I grew up and got married and had children, spent an ordinary but happy life. Then let go of Gerda's hand, slept forever. Later, Gerda and Hans drove to the place where Lili was born. It was also the lake that Lili often painted before her death. Walking on the edge of the mountain, it is an endless sea bend and a strong cliff. Suddenly, the scarf that Lili once gave to Gerda was blown up by the wind. Hans wanted to find it back, but was stopped by Gerda, because in Gerda's eyes this scarf is still the incarnation of Lili's soul, and Lili, who was trapped in the male body, the soul, should no longer be blocked. It should be free as the wind. Danish Girl is directed by Tom Habbo, Adelaide Magen, and Alicia Vikander lead the cast. The story-like movie, which was released in 2015. This film is Adapted from the famous novel by David Ibhoff, inspiration comes from the world's earliest. One of the transsexuals, Danish painter Lili Albo's real experience. Lili Albo, also known as Einar Wegener, she was originally a divorced man and the wife of the same painter, Gerda Wegener. Familiar with the Danish capital Copenhagen royal art student, their life was sweet and intimate. Einar also had a successful career. Danish Artist Association even held a personal exhibition for him. One chance, Einar replaced the female model in the wife's painting, put on women's clothes, and appear as Lili, and this experience also awakened her inner depth, long-term suppressed female identity, and as Lili's personality became stronger, she began to think of herself as a woman. So, with the understanding and support of his wife Gerda, she set foot on a difficult and brave self-exploration, and transsexuality became one of the earliest in the world to accept gender reassignment surgery. At that time, the Danish government also issued her a new female identity card named Lili Albo and canceled her marriage with Gerda, but later Lili felt that as a woman she must have her own child, so she had a uterine transplant unexpectedly. 3 months later, 4 organs reacted to the age of 48, and Gerda remarried an Italian official. After separating from Lili and settled in Morocco unexpectedly, the other party was not only a scumbag but also cheated all her savings. After the divorce, Gerda moved back to Denmark alone and also tried to hold a personal exhibition, but because the work was too reflective, she could only rely on the name chip of the seller. She has no children in her life. Later, she was infected with alcoholism. Finally, she died in loneliness and extreme cold on the search for her true self. Lili went through fear and confusion, but never gave up. She used the light of life to resist those prejudices that try to imprison the soul. Gerda's love has made us believe true love can go beyond gender barriers and beyond the prejudices of the world. This resonance of the soul may be the most touching part of the film. She didn't show the bitterness of identity, but truly showed how a soul can search for its own light. Every soul has the right to find the one it belongs to. Every truth should be protected gently, even if it is unique in the world. After all, love is never about correcting the deviation, but about bravely facing the truth. The meaning of life is based on a voice of the heart, not being bound by external labels. As Gerda said after Lili's death, the world will remember her not because of her tragedy, but because she taught us how to face ourselves honestly and the fear of society. The essence is to recognize the manifestation of narrow love, but true civilization is based on respect. Okay, that's all for today's movie. Please like, comment, and share. I'm Shark. Looking forward to meeting you next time.